But I wanted to show you a few things here on the paint, the design and paint section, which is just refining it a little bit. So if you click on paint, you have shrink wrap, smooth. I do use shrink wrap a lot for uh, subtle changes. And let me just turn my view a little bit. And I'm just kind of using this to shrink it a little bit. You could also use your smooth, which does a little bit more. Another thing I wanted to tell you about Divine Cut is they have these lovely edge lines, but what happens is when you rig it is it splits. It's an edge split modifier, and it actually does split the cloth when you try to move. So I do like to get rid of the edge split if I can. Let me see if I even, oops. Let's click it here. Click on my skirt modifiers over here on the right, and I'm just going to look up edge split, and I'm just going to actually just delete it. And it does take away some of that detail. You can add some of that detail back with using a sculpt and just kind of going across it using your crease or your crease shower a little bit, and that might make a little bit of a pinch, but definitely it's worth it not to have that split seam. So unless I come up with a different solution for that, I'm again going through a simulation, and once I find it and I like it, I'm gonna just pause. Let's see how it looks in the back. Quick, it looks pretty good. What I usually do at this point is I'm going to go to object mode, and that sometimes happens with the mirror. But if we go back a space, let's see, should get rid of that, hopefully. I'm going back more. I'm going back. uh, Object. Stop it here. Once I get to this point and I like what it looks like, what I'm been tending to do is saving it as an OBJ file. I'm just exporting it as an OBJ and bringing it back after I've done most of my simulations. I could still work on it, but let's call it pleated skirt. And then I'm just gonna do selection only. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this copy. Now I'm gonna import that OBJ that I just saved, wavefront as pleated skirt, and I can still work on it some more, but I don't have to worry about mirror modifiers or anything. And as far as working on it, let's just see, it's 57 thousand vertices is fine. I'm just going to go into my sculpt mode here and go into my smooth brush, and I just want to just smooth out these bulky looking areas. Anything that might look a little bad, I do like the length of it. I am going to just in my, use my elastic grab in my sculpt mode, and maybe just to make it look a little bit more realistic, I'm just going to pull out some of these points on the bottom. Let's turn it over. And pull up a few more points, maybe pull up the posing points. Again, hit your 1 key to in your number pad to get back to where you were. And I like how that waistline looks, but it's a little high here. So I'm going to just very subtly move this down. Okay, at this point, I can just unwrap it. Now, usually I end up doing a smart UV unwrap, but sometimes with these, see it says that it's failed to solve, and I don't really want to mess with that too much. It would help to go to the UV editor, but that looks pretty good actually. So unless we can do conformal, which is pretty close to what it is, so that's good. I just wanted to do that so that when I do go to texture it, it'll be ready. Okay, at this point, I think I am ready to start the rigging process. So, let me show you that. We are going to go back into object mode. We're going to go to I'm going to add a complete avatar, which will pretty much mimic the Maitreya body that I had. That was just a body, but I'm going to get rid of that simply colada, which is the Maitreya body, and have just the Avastar body. And you can see just slightly not the right size for this body, not a problem. I'm just very slightly made the waistline a little bigger. Now I'm going to click on my Avastar bones, click on my skirt. I'm going to go to Avastar tab here on the right, the weight mapper. I'm going to use the upper and the lower body as the mesh references. So it would be copy from meshes, and the unbound meshes are the divine skirt. So let's see what else it's giving me warnings that they're scaled and rotated items. You want to do Control A and apply all transforms when that pops up, and that will remove those messages. Let's copy and bind to avatar, and that has cleared that. Let's go real quick into click on our bones here, go into pose mode. Let's try to rotate your leg, and it is rigged. You see this squarish part here? This is because we need to adjust the weights a little better. So that's not a problem either. We're going to just go into object mode again, and then clicking on the skirt, go into weight mode. We're going to find our divine skirt and our vertex groups, and we're going to, thank goodness there aren't a lot of them, we're going to go and we're going to smooth, go to weight here, smooth at 75 iterations. Let's go through the whole thing. So you could see how it just doesn't look nice. It's like really blocky looking. When you do a smooth with 75 iterations, it makes it much more like a rainbow. I'm going to do the bottom, do the other side, smooth. So I want to basically just smooth everything. Let's again go into object mode. Oops. On our bone, move, and it's a much smoother. You can see it's not as blocky. It's not stretching at too much. I think it could even be better. So I'm going to go in again. I'm going to go to weight paint again, and I'm really looking for the hip part, and here's, we never did that for some reason. So let's smooth it first, and then I'm gonna do it again. So basically, I'm smoothing the hips and gonna do the knees to 150 iterations altogether. 75 the first time, and you can go like up to 400, but sometimes you know that your mesh starts splitting if you do it too much. So all looks good right now. Let's go back into pose mode, and I'm liking that. So what I'm gonna do at this point, go back into object mode, hit shift, and include my skirt and the bones, and I'm gonna export as a GLB. I'm gonna call it pleated skirt. Make sure for the include you only use selected objects, and I always apply my modifiers just in case. Here under mesh, export